I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, April the 17th, brought to you in part by a new advertiser, Arvest Bank. Arvest Bank believes in farmers and ranchers, more than just a bank, a partner with boots on the ground in cattle country. They cover Arkansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kansas for the most part. They believe in supporting hard-working ranchers with real lending solutions, from livestock to land to everything in between. All loans are subject to credit approval. Check them out. Get a hold of them at arvest.com/agriculture. Thursday cattle on feed, we don't see that happen very often at all, about once a year. But we are going to have a cattle on feed report here today on Thursday because Good Friday is coming up this Friday, and the board's going to be closed, and everybody's going to be gone. There are going to be no LRPs taken out either today, Thursday, or Friday. So hard luck there. But we are looking forward to this report. I don't know that it's going to be a big market mover as much as the last one was. The last one was with record low placements there, but if you pay attention to your cattle on feed report here today on Thursday at 2 o'clock, you're going to have your on feed inventories. The average of the analyst guess is 98.3. I told you last night or on yesterday's report that it was a little hard for me to believe that, but I don't think they're going to change it much. Your placements, I'm going with another average of the analyst guess prediction at 104.2. Now, on our last visit, I gave you one that was about a half a percentage lighter than that. I like this one better. So 104.2 is what I'm going to go with for the average of the analyst guess on the placements. I still think it could be 105 or 6, and I don't like that, but that's just the way it is. We've just poured cattle into the sale barns after February was so short and light of running of any cattle going on feed or anywhere else. And then your marketing's at 100.6. So be sure and pay attention there this afternoon on that. Your real-time index on DVAuction, which is a precursor to your CME cash feeder cattle index, gained to $3.59 on Thursday during the day. Of course, it's always up to date and current. You don't have to wait for them to gather it up. If they sell some cattle that belong in the index, bang, you refresh your page and the real-time index is always up to date and current. You think, my gosh, how could it gain over $3.50 in just one day? Well, for instance, Hub City Livestock in Aberdeen, South Dakota, they had nearly 1,000 head of index steers, and the price on them, the weighted average price was over $325. So whenever you're looking at an index level that's sitting under 290 still, and you get quite a few head in there over 325, yeah, it's going to move it, even though it's a 7-day moving average, just like your CME cash feeder cattle index is. But we're gaining ground. I mean, these guys, we gave them an inch of positive outlook, and they're taking a mile, these feeder cattle buyers. And now we've got your farmer feeders in there too. They're not too excited about this year's row crops, so they're thinking about getting some cattle. They made good money last year. They're going to try to do that again. You haven't seen any fat cattle trade to speak of at all on a direct basis in the 5-area feeding region. Did hear through private sources that Nebraska was passing 328 dressed. That would have been near the top of the market last week on dress sales, and Kansas was passing 206 Thursday afternoon. Well, the best they had late last week was 204. So this market's going to be $2 plus better, maybe as much as $5 better. I'd love to see it. I think we should be able to get all that market position back that we lost last week, but guys have to dig in, stick to their heels, and do it. Don't, well, I say don't, we may have to wait. The cattle on feed report comes out, everybody will wait till after that to do anything. But if it happens to be a little bit bearish, Don't let that allow you to sell your cattle cheaper. Hold on to the cattle till Friday. The board might be closed, but they're going to be hungry for them, guys. They are desperately looking for cattle to slaughter. Look at your board on Wednesday there. April live cattle futures up 227 at 207.07. June was up 227 at 202.07. Big gains on live cattle. And your back months were unchanged way far out to as much as 210 higher. Had gains on feeder cattle, not as big as the previous day and not as big as the live cattle, but still gained ground on feeder cattle. April feeder cattle up 57 cents at 289.95. May was up $1.87 at 284.40. Your back month's up 30 cents to up $1.20. May corn was up 3 cents a bushel at 484.25. May beans up 2 3/4 cents at 10.38 3/4. And hard red winter wheat for May up 5 cents a bushel at 5.58. Your fat cattle trade, like I said, we haven't seen anything. And you know, a week ago we kept seeing, of course, the market was tough, and then everybody was scared to death of the tariff talk and all that kind of thing. And your publicly traded markets were so volatile, and we saw people just puking a few cattle here and a few cattle there, and then finally we rounded them all up and we had an extremely light movement for the week negotiated. Well, they still got to buy some cattle negotiated. They bought one load so far in the northern plains out of Nebraska, and that was Monday late. We did see Iowa sell 100 head on Wednesday at 208 and 328. So why somebody would do that, like I said, I don't know. You know, wait the week out until you see what the market's going to do, especially when we're gaining ground like crazy. Nebraska, Kansas, and Texas did not sell a hoof, so they're all digging in and going to gain some significant ground here if we don't have a bearish cattle and feed report. Did have some fat cattle auctions on Wednesday. Sioux Falls Regional Livestock in Worthing, South Dakota had about 550 head of slaughter cattle, including all classes. The steers and heifers were $4 to $5 higher. Conventional fed steers and heifers sell from $213.75 to $217.25. Program cattle, non-implanted or drug-free, selling from $215.75 to $218.25. Another market at Watertown, South Dakota, Glacial Lakes Livestock, they had about 900 head of slaughter cattle, so a good run for them. $2 to $5 higher. Conventional fed cattle in Watertown, South Dakota, sell from $205 to $212, but the stick out group was 198 heifers. Good quality on them, a lot of finish on them. Weighed 1430. They had been implanted, so they're just conventional cattle. Bring $216.75. We won't see anything like that on a direct basis. Take them to the sale, guys. Program fed cattle there in Watertown bring from $212 to $219. Box beef cutout values were a little bit lower again on Wednesday. Choice cuts $333.53, down $1.90. Selects down 85 cents at $314.39. Your slaughter is gaining ground. They need product, guys. Up through the first 3 days of the week, 357,000 estimated cattle slaughter. That was 8,000 better than last week at this time, 11,000 lighter than a year ago at this time. Talk about what else is going on. Legacy Beef Cooperative, of course that's part of Cattlemen's Heritage Beef there, Council Bluffs, Iowa. That is a packing plant going under construction there. Legacy Beef Co-op is going to be a cooperative that you producers can be a part of, and the co-op will actually own 20% share in the packing house. Packing house is going to buy cattle according to the box beef cutout prices, and not the fat cattle market, which it's hard to say what that is anyway. But I'm going to attach the interview I did with James Timmerman again at the end of this feeder flash. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, here's a chance. Become a member of Legacy Beef Cooperative and secure your harvest spots, guys. And then you can trade those. Those will be valuable later on as we go down the line. But for more information, go to legacybeefcoop.com. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market, brought to you by Specialty Risk Insurance. where they are working to protect your livelihood. Real-time index, I mentioned it earlier, based on an 800-pound cash auction steer, 7-day moving average up through the middle 12 states, late on Wednesday after your sales had all concluded, sitting at 289.72. That was up 359. Wow, that's a big gain there, guys. And your latest CME cash feeder cattle index, 288.03. Check out that steer tracker, and you guys look at this every day, but I don't know if you're paying attention to the steer tracker. That is the last 25 lots of index steers that had over 5 head in them, so it was a decent test. Your steer tracker late Wednesday sitting at $300.13, so gives you an idea why it's gaining so much ground. How about your big sales on Wednesday? OKC West, El Reno, Oklahoma, 6,000 head for their Tuesday and Wednesday calf and feeder sales. Your feeders on Wednesday sold $7 to $12 higher, with spots as much as $20 higher. Calves on Tuesday were fully $20 higher. And they were one of the markets that was sharply lower last week, so they gained all that back and probably a little bit more. How about winter livestock in Dodge City, Kansas? They had 2,900. Market was mostly $5 to $12 higher, so a good sale there in Dodge. How about Hub City Livestock, which I told you about all the index cattle earlier in the commentary there? They had 5,900. They've been a DVAuction broadcaster forever. Market was higher. It was unevenly in spots, but it'd take too long to tell you all about it. But they were your National Beefwire Stickout Sale of the day. Check out this automated market report through Cattle Market Central. And look at your best tested weights here. 536 head of 6-weight steers average 643 at 352.30. 613 head of your 7-weight steers average 750 pounds at 323.21. 219 head 8-weight steers averaged 838 at 288.82. 580 head of the 9-weight steers averaged 941 at 266.58. And not on this market report, we didn't include the 10 weights, but I got them for you. 702 head of 10-weight steers averaged 1035, weighted average price 254.72. The heifers, 296 head of the 5-weight heifers averaged 567 at 330.75. 310 head of 6-weight heifers averaged 656 at 306.69. 300 head of 7-weight heifers averaged 758 with a weighted average price of 285.19. And 315 head of 8-weight heifers, Hub City Livestock, Aberdeen, South Dakota, averaged 843 with a weighted average price of 267.93. I've got several very impressive individual quotes to give you from all over the country, guys. Pay attention to them. How about North Arkansas Livestock in beautiful downtown Green Forest, Arkansas? They sell 134 steers, weigh 763, and bring 308.50 through the ring in Arkansas. So naturally, you would think if you got up into the northern plains and the Midwest, you'd get some big time quotes too. Well, how about in the Midwest? At Decorah Sales Company in Decorah, Iowa, Gillespie family had some Red Angus steers in there that they originally bought to background out of Crawford Livestock in Crawford, Nebraska. My good friends the Robertsons out there, man, they've got a premium quality sale. But they put the weight on these cattle, brought them into Decorah, Iowa. 112 steers weighed 873 and bring $300.75. How about out east, guys, further east? Bluegrass Stockyards in Campbellsville, Kentucky. They can sell them. How about 122 head, 746 pound steers, bring 320 through the ring in Campbellsville, Kentucky. Impressive quote. How about way up north? Pays Livestock, that's public auction yards in Billings, Montana. 145 steers weighed 788 at 311.75. Another Northern Plains market, Stockman's Livestock Market in Yankton, South Dakota. The feeder sale had 55 steers weighed 962 and bring 286. And that's not even the top quote of the day. Most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Wednesday in your Macrocin No BS top quote for the day, indeed come out of Hub City Livestock in Aberdeen. It was 75 steers, weighed 604 and bring 384. That's your feeder flash for Thursday.